Hey, what's up? This is Scott, the Frozen Gamer, here on a cold, windy, blustery 30-degree night in Minnesota. And today, I'm going to be showing you one of the games from my collection. I'm going to show you the pieces, all the components, how it plays briefly, and why it's still in my collection today. And today's game is, boom, Tavarua by Cody Miller, a 2016 game that's averaging a 7.2 on Board Game Geek. Now, you may know Cody because he designed Xia, the big space sandbox game. This was his follow-up to Xia, and it didn't do nearly as great, but I think it's a wonderful game. It's a surfing-themed push-your-luck game. Are you stoked to learn more about it? I sure am stoked. Are you stoked? I am stoked. So let's go and look at the game. Okay, here's Tavarua set up partway through the game. We have our scoreboard. We're trying to collect the highest scored waves for your longboard, and then separately for your shortboard. Now, here's our main game board. We got our channel where we paddle out to try to catch the waves. The size of the waves are the dice numbers. Here in this kind of white area is the wash. You don't want to be in there. That means you either bailed because you got too afraid to keep going, or you crashed because you did push your luck and it didn't work out in your favor. Neither of those are that great. On the bottom is the shore, where you pick which surfboard you want to be on, your shortboard or your longboard, and then you got your meeple. So let's say this is mid-game. We decide we're going to go and ride. We've already scored on our longboard, so we want to go and ride our shortboard so we make sure we get at least one score on our shortboard. So we are right here on the shore. We're all going to get a deck of 5 cards. That's the back side, the front side. The only thing that's important is the number and the color. So red ones go down, teal ones go up, and the numbers are going to give you points and also how far you paddle if you're paddling. So it's a simultaneous action game. So let's say we're at shore, we need to paddle out. And we want to paddle out far to catch one of these bigger waves up here. So we're going to use a 4. And we put it right down. You can either catch, you can put it here if we wanted to catch a wave, here's to paddle out, here's to wait, or here's to paddle in. We're going to put it on paddle out face down. Everyone's going to be doing it at the same time. So everyone flips it over and we decide we're going to paddle out 4, because that's what our card says. 4. So out we go. Woo, I just fell off my board before we paddled. Not a great start, but we paddle out 4 spots. And then you discard the card and get a new card from your hand. Now we're going to want to catch a wave. Unfortunately, we really want to catch this 4, because if you catch the same number wave that's in the same spot you're in, so we're in spot 4, you'd get this bonus token for a perfect wave that gives you 1 extra point when you scored that wave. Unfortunately, at the end of every round, which is just playing a card and doing your action, which we just did, we have to slide the waves down. So Orange just rode his wave into the shore. We take that bottom wave, we put it back up to the top, we roll a die, and put it back on the wave. Now you can only catch a wave if the number is equal to or higher than the spot it's in. So we can catch this 5, we can catch this 6, we can catch the 4, we can catch the 3, we can catch the 1, but we can't catch the 6 because it's not a 6. It has to be a 6 or higher, but it's a D6. We can't get a D7, of course. But we got a 2 here, so that one, we won't be able to catch this wave until it gets all the way down here. So now we want to catch a wave because we don't want to just be sitting here in the channel. So we're going to catch a wave. We put it here, and then everyone flips it over, and we put down 1. So we leave the card here, and we move our balance down 1 on our surfboard. This is a very similar mechanism to what Skate Summer has used for their balance, and this is where you're pushing your luck, because if you fall off either end, you crash. So we did make this wave. We kept our balance. We made our wave, so we're standing up here, and everyone else moves their pieces. But the next thing we do is we check the wave deck. This is going to throw off our balance a little bit more. So we know the top card here is we're going to either move up or down 0 or 1 spaces. We don't know what's on the back. The next card shows up or down 2. The next card shows up 2 or 3. There's other cards like this card, which is a barrel card. Those are super risky, and we'll go over those at the very end. So we flip over the top card, up 0 or down 1. It's up 1. So we move our balance back, and we happen to be right back in the center. That's great. That's the end of the round. Then we do the same thing again. We'll get a new card in our hand, and let's say we want to play where we go up 1 this time, because we see it's a up or down 2. So we're going to try to go up 1. We play it here. We move up 1. Of course, we'd be sliding down this track. This would all be sliding down. I'm not going to do that right now. We go up 1, though. We flip over the card, the wave deck. Oh no, it's up 2. 1, 2. We just crashed. We pushed our luck and we crashed. We'd go off into the break, fall over, and then the next turn we have to wait. We'd put our card way down on the bottom corner here, and that would just get us back into shore. Waste a turn because we crashed. And we only score, for crashing, we only score our highest card with any chips that might be on it. Instead, if we didn't wipe out and we were back here, and we decided to bail because we were too afraid of that card, we'd put our guy here, and then the next turn, he would just go out back. At the end of the turn, he'd just go back out in the channel. Here, the downside of this, the good side is you get to score all of your cards and any points on them. The downside is you can't change boards. You'd have to paddle all the way back in if you decided you wanted to change boards. So you'd probably just want to hop back on a wave. Let's say we didn't crash, and instead, we rode the wave all the way to the shore. What we do then is we score our wave. We count up all the points on our card. So 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 11. We get a 2-point bonus for making it to the shore. That's 12, 13. And let's say we got points from some of the other chits that we collected throughout the ride. And let's say we got 17 points. We look at the scoreboard, and down here it says 17 to 18 points is worth a 7.5 for my ride. So I'd take my shortboard token, I'd put it right on there, and then I'd be ready to go and do another ride, either on my shortboard or my longboard. So what are some of the chits that we can get that add points to your rides? I already talked about the perfect wave for catching a 4 on a 4 or a 5 on a 5. It's going to get you 1 bonus point. There is, if you're on a longboard, end your turn right on the top of your board, the front edge of your board, and you end the turn there safely, you get a hang 10, 2-point bonus. I talked about barrels real briefly. If you're on a longboard, you try to match the number that's on the other side. I have to play a card from my hand that matches it. So if I played a 3, and this was a 3, I'd successfully make it through the barrel, and I'd get 5 points for that. If I didn't, if I played a 1 or a 2, I would have crashed. Now, if I was on my shortboard, I want to not get the 3. So I can play a 1 or a 2, and I'd be safe. A 3 would make me crash, and if I played a 4, I just wouldn't get the token, but I'd stay alive. And you can only play 4s on your shortboard because they're aerial moves. All the cards have moves on them. It's an aerial move. I guess professionals can't do aerials on longboards. So you keep doing all of this over and over again until the end of the game. Catching waves, hoping to make it into shore without crashing or having to bail. The end of the game is when you run out of your wave deck. That signals the end of the game. At that point, everyone looks at their complete scores for the game, for both their longboards and their shortboards. So let's say that my shortboard total was a 7.5 and an 8.5. Woo, 7.5 and an 8.5. That would give me a total of 16 for my shortboard. Let's say I had a total of a 5.5 for my longboard, 5 and a 1.5 for my longboard. You can do more than 2 rides per board, but you only keep the top 2 scores you scored for that board. Everyone compares their scores to each other. Let's say we had the highest, that 16.0 for my 2 combined shortboards was the highest out of anyone in the game. I would get the shortboard champion token. Let's say yellow had the longest longboard token. They would get the longboard champion token. All the other colors would be out of the game now. It's just down to me and yellow. So what we do is we wipe off the tokens that we just scored the trophies for. So I'd get rid of my shortboard and only leave my longboards on the scoreboard. So then we would compare our not as good board that we used, and whoever had the highest in that would win. So let's say I had the 5 and a 1.5. That'd give me a 6.5 for my total on my longboard. And yellow looks at their shortboard, and let's say they had an 8.5 for their shortboard. Well, yellow would win the whole tournament and get the champion's trophy. That is Tavarua. So why is this old 2016 little-known game still in my collection? Well, one, it's such a uniquely themed push your luck game. Every little mechanism in the game works with the theme really well. Also, it's not horribly punishing because you can bail out instead of just crash and burning with your pushing your luck too much and wiping out. So you can bail out and get some of your score, or you can risk it and try to get that big, huge score by getting to the shore with your full ride. The theme of it, I love surf culture. I love surf music. I love surf clothing. I just like the vibe of surfing. I'm from Minnesota. I know nothing about actually surfing. I'm terrified to actually ever try it, but I love the idea of it. And That's another reason it's still in my collection. And the third part of why it's in my collection still is the components. I mean, these surfboards are adorable. They're all unique. Everyone's unique. They're all different. So these are some of the long boards. Here's some of the different short boards. And not only are they unique per surfboard, but their backsides are unique too. Well, that's actually the backside of this one. And they have the little fins on there. The details is great. Everything about it's awesome. The dice are great. They're custom dice, of course. The one has a little tiny wave. As you get bigger and bigger, here's the 4 wave. And then we got the 6 wave here where it's the full barrel. Just great components all around. The artwork matches all the surfboards for the player boards. They completely match. And it's just great. I love it. The other reason that this game is still in my collection is the solo mode. It's got a campaign of 12 games, one for each month. And they have different cards that are in each deck, which makes the length of the tournament different. There's a different amount of competitors in it, and you score points for how you do in it. And it's just a really fun, well thought out campaign for a solo mode. So that was Tavarua, the great surfing push your luck game by Cody Miller and his company Far Off Games. And that's it. Peace, hang loose, and stay cool.